Sharon M. Atkinson here, MacGyver of Design. Today is Monday, October 20th, 2025. The time now is 2:16 p.m. This will be the 126th content video that I'm going to place in my 46 playlist, Mind'sEyeFaith. This is part 3 in the series, What Does Jehovah God Want for Jesus, aka Michael? The theme scriptures are Genesis 3:15 and Galatians 3:16. Let's begin with Genesis 3:15. And I shall put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He will bruise you in the head, and you will bruise him in the heel. Let's move on to Galatians 3:16, which reads, Now the promises were spoken to Abraham and to his seed. It says not, and to your seeds, as in the case of many such, but as in the case of one, and to your seed, who is Christ. Significant. First prophecy in the Bible. Why is it so significant? What will that seed do? What does Jehovah God want for Christ? Let's review. In part 1, it's firmly established that he wants kingship for the one that is anointed by him as Christ. And we refer to Psalm 94, that he has installed his own king, but the nations are agitated in a tumult against Jehovah God and his anointed. Where does that fall into place with Jehovah God's continuing progress of this development? Here it says in Psalm 110, he invites his anointed one to sit at my right hand until I place your enemies as a stool for your feet. That's Psalm 110, verse 1. Jehovah God is particular who he wants to be in that high position, but wouldn't you be? That's a position of Co-Regent. That's not an ordinary position. It's not a subordinate king, as if to say you are calling him deputy, but you're calling him Co-Regent. Sit at my right hand. He does not substitute for Jehovah, but Jehovah God has given him a position that no one could say, I could best that. The only way you could best that is to be Jehovah God himself. And Jehovah God is not giving up his seat, his throne, but he's allowing his son to sit beside him, that position. Now, in Ezekiel 21:27, it says, a ruin, that's 3 times. I shall make it. As for this also, it will certainly become no one's until he who has a legal right, and I must give it to him. Give what to him? It says here in verse 26, this is what the sovereign Lord Jehovah has said. Remove the turban and lift off the crown. This will not be the same. Put on high even what is low, and bring low even the high one. So kingship, authority, turban. The turban's for the priesthood and the crown is for the king. Christ just being a king and a priest in the manner of Melchizedek, as Paul mentioned. Now, let's move on. Why did Jehovah God vet Jesus Christ? Why was it so important to vet this person, make sure he had the legal right? According to Matthew 24:24, it reads, for false Christs and false prophets will arise and will give great signs and wonders so as to mislead, if possible, even the chosen ones. Look, I have forewarned you. Therefore, if people say to you, look, he is in the wilderness, do not go out. Look, he is in the inner chamber, do not believe it. Now, Jehovah God made sure the selection was confirmed that it was the right one. And he vetted Jesus Christ by having Jesus Christ fulfill so many different prophecies about the Messiah for a good purpose.